Hello and welcome to my bench. My name's Drew, and today we're going to paint this P-40B pilot figure from Revel. There's the finished product. So the first thing that we got to do is we've got to carve away the factory molded seat belts that were made for the pilot inside the plane, and also he has I believe a life preserver and maybe even a parachute on the back. So we're going to carve away everything that doesn't look like basically a pilot's jacket. The plan for this figure is to have him sitting on the wing of the plane when we're finished. I've substantially condensed this video, just kind of showing you the highlights of the process. Again, we're using wood carving tools, a scalpel, hobby blade, and here's a pretty big ejector pin right in the back of his head, which definitely isn't acceptable. So I've used perfect plastic putty and smoothed that and carved that out with a toothpick and some sandpaper. Put a coat of black primer on, and now I've taken a very thin coat of Tamiya buff and sprayed that over the top so you can still see the black underneath. I like to work in layers with my figures to create natural shadows. So here the paint started going on a little thick, so basically just kept dipping my brush in water and spreading the paint from one leg to the next. And as you can see, we're painting very, very thin coats and working up in layers. This allows us to maintain shadow from the paint below, and that buff allows for a nice neutral base for us to work from. I like to work from my midtones, put in my highlights, and then come back and fill it with the wash, which you'll see later. So we're going to use this titanium white and red to make a nice pink. And I like to paint the skin surfaces of my figures with this pink color to mimic natural blood flow, I guess, under the skin. And then again, working in very thin layers, go over the top of that to create a more natural flesh look. And you'll see in the final high quality images at the end how good this looks. I'm currently using a cell phone here for this, and the quality of it is not as good as the new lenses that I've purchased. So what we did there is we just painted a darker brown underneath his chin to create a shadow effect, and then we wet blended that. And now we're going to come back and add some red for his lips, and we'll again put multiple shades over the top. I'll do some red and then follow that up with like a little bit of brown to make it look a little more flesh tone like. And now we're going to go ahead and put in eyebrows, paint some shadows underneath the jacket and other areas of his body, and then come back with the final color to blend that in and make that look natural. Go ahead and put in some white dots for his eyes. Now if you want, you can actually just do black dots for the eyes. I decided to try to go just a little bit farther and have some white in the eyes and put some highlights in his cheeks. And again, I just kind of wet blend that. And here I'm painting the edges of the goggles and creating reflections. We're highlighting the jacket here, highlighting the collar, and we're going to add some red tones to the leather to give a little bit of different color. So we'll just do some red, and then we'll come over again with a very watered down thin coat of brown paint over the top of that. We're painting the hands here, again pink base coat, and then follow that up with flesh to get a sort of realistic flesh tone, or at least to the best of my current ability. Adding some highlights to the pants, and then we'll follow up by painting his boots black, and then we'll add just a little bit of highlights to that as well. Now we're washing the figure with a Vallejo water-based FX, and then we kind of clean everything off, and here we end up with the final figure. I think he looks pretty good. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the pictures. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.